Behind this door right here is the most insane toilet in the UK when it comes to bum washing technology, the things that it's got in this toilet. When I sat down on it, I was like, oh baby! But also, I've had this toilet installed now for about a month, and in that time we've gone through Christmas, New Year's, loads of parties, loads of family members coming round, loads of friends, and they've all been using this toilet, and every one of them firstly said they were incredibly surprised, but also how cool it was, and they'd probably think about having one of them in their home. Let's have a look at it now. Check this out. Here it is. Would you have one of these in your home? Oh, she's going to open for me. Oh, look at that. Oh, she's opened up. Some of you may be interested to know how I installed this amazing toilet, and I have made a video about that, and I'll leave a link to that at the end of this video that you'll be able to click on the screen. But first, let's talk about some of the features of this bidet, hair drying, bum warming toilet. It's incredible. So straight off the bat, it is a toilet with a fantastic adjustable flush on it. The flush on these comes out of a special flush plate here, and we can alter and adjust the amount of flush that comes out every time we flush it using a special insert and which way it's orientated round. On this toilet here, I've completely removed it because I love a big flush, and that's perfectly fine. That's part of the thing that you can do. One of the coolest things this toilet does is it auto opens and closes the seat using a motion sensor when you come into the toilet. You would not believe how many times I've heard my wife go, "Oh, hello," when she goes into the toilet. Even I've started doing it now. And like I said, when you get up off the toilet, it knows when you've got off it because there's a little sensor just here, and it can sense when you've sat on the toilet. It will then shut the toilet. And because this toilet works perfectly with the Vitra flush plate up there, it knows when you've sat down on it, and therefore when you get up, if you've been on there quite quickly because you've gone for a wee-wee, or you've been there for a little bit longer because of other reasons, yes, it knows how long to flush, and therefore when you get up, you don't have to touch the toilet seat, you don't have to flush anything, you don't even need to put your hand up against the flush plate if you don't want to. You can just get up, wash your hands, leave the washroom or the toilet or whatever you want to call it, and this will flush automatically for you after you've left. So that's really good. And also for a downstairs toilet, which is where we are at the moment in my house, where we've got lots of people coming in and out for parties and bits and pieces, because we are sociable creatures, it's quite nice to know that we've got somewhere where people don't have to touch loads of stuff all the time if they've got a bit of a hygiene worry issue. But there are some things on the VCare Prime that have been, I think, developed just for me. One of them is the deodorization function. So when you sit on the toilet, and I can just put my hand here, and it knows that we've sat on it, and you should be able to hear straight away that the deodorization function has started. What that's doing is it's extracting air, putting that through a filter, so if there are any random smells that may come out while you're on top of the toilet, it will go through that deodorizer and there won't be any smells in it. I can tell you now, in the month that I've had this installed, or how many ever weeks that I've had this beast installed, there have been no nasty smells out of this toilet whatsoever, and I've had Christmas dinner. The other function that I actually think you could liken it to having a heated steering wheel when you get in your car. You don't really know you need it until you've got it, and once you've got it, you never want to go back again. This has a heated seat. So when you sit down on it, it's not freezing cold, it's just the right temperature. Although it's very easy to adjust the temperature up and down using the handy remote behind me on the wall. I think it's a good idea to address the fact that, especially in the UK, we do tend to like using toilet paper, and we're not really used to using bidets that much. I've got a bidet upstairs that I've had for ages. That's actually a Vitra one as well. If I have to go to a hotel, or if I have to stay somewhere, or I go around someone else's house, the fact they don't have a bidet toilet now feels incredibly unusual to me and slightly dirty, sorry to say. If you want to think about it like this, when you go and have a shower or when you have a bath, you tend to wash yourself everywhere, don't you? Including that place where things happen. And when you sit down on a bidet like this one here and you go to the toilet, you actually have a nice little mini wash where you come out as if you've just had a shower pretty much. You're that clean. This space age toilet is packed with more features that you can access easily using the remote control, although there are some basic function buttons on the side of the Vitra Prime itself as an alternative. So if I put my hand on here, you'll hear that little beep. The Vitra Prime knows that we're on the toilet. The air deodorizer comes on straight away. Let's use the Vitra VCare remote so I can show you each one of these amazing features. As you can see, we can open and close the toilet seat and the toilet seat cover using the top two buttons, although I have the automatic function set for this, so I don't tend to use this on the remote. The stop button will stop any of the functions that are currently operating. The female button will use a diffused nozzle outlet to deliver water in a softer way. Once the female wash is running, we can use the nozzle position button and the plus and minus scale to alter the position of the nozzle. We can use the same scale to alter the water pressure and the water temperature. We can fine tune the type of wash by having a pulsating wash, which adds a more massaging effect, and the oscillating wash, so the nozzle moves forward and backwards automatically for a thorough cleansing effect. The male button indicates rear washing, which means we're using a different nozzle outlet, a lot more focused and in a slightly different position. Again, we can adapt this function using the nozzle position, sliding scale plus and minus, the water pressure coming out, the water temperature, and whether we want a pulsating wash or an oscillating wash. And as you can see, after a certain amount of time, this will actually go off. So say you finish using this, now you press the coolest button there is. Check this out. Oh, this thing is so cool. And we can change the temperature of the air coming out. I usually have this on high, but you can turn it down if you like, or turn it up if you like. It's that simple. How cool is that? I just love it. And if you want everything to stop, doesn't matter what it is, whether the female wash is on or whether the fan's on, just press the stop button and that will stop. There's even a nightlight LED inside the toilet that's triggered when it gets dark, so it's not on all the time. So now I'm afraid, guys, there's no excuse. Even though, because the toilet seat's beautifully heated, I'm generally sat down now anyway. Cleaning and maintenance is really easy and should be done about 3 times a year for optimum performance. But I followed the instructions, took about 10 or 15 minutes, and I kind of just left it to it really, using the supplied ton dish and descaler bottle to descale and clean out the internal components. The bidet nozzle can be extracted for cleaning by pressing the female and male washes together for 3 seconds, and then you can just wipe it down with a cloth. The whole toilet seat, the bidet, the air dryer, everything that I've described so far in this video can be easily removed and lifted out from the top of the toilet by pressing the 2 buttons on each side. Once you've pressed them, you can lift it all out. This is installed on flexible water connections and electrical connections, so then you can give everything a good wipe round as well. Everything can be turned on and off depending on whether you need it, including the toilet seat lifting up and down automatically. You can turn that off if you like. You can turn the deodorization function off so that never comes on. All those things that maybe you don't want, I just want you to know that you've got full flexibility. There's a burn mode on here as well, so if you're sat on the seat for 10 minutes, it will not allow it to go above 38 degrees, just in case you start getting a bit of a hot behind, which for most people isn't a great thing. There's also a power saving mode, so you can press the stop button and then it will run the water at 24 degrees and also turn the toilet seat off. So you're literally using the lowest amount of energy ever. But I'll be talking about energy consumption in a second, because I've done a couple of days of a test using an energy monitor to see how much this is. Also, if you're going away, the VCare, as you can see from the gubbins at the back, does hold a few litres of water. There is frost protection on there, so it will keep the water so it never goes below 5 degrees. They've thought of everything. There's also a child wash as well, so if you press the female wash and the stop button for 3 seconds, it will bring out this so it's in oscillating mode at the lowest pressure and also at position 5. Also, as a final bit of information, I left an energy usage monitor plug plugged into the VCare Prime and also the flush plate for 1 whole day. Here are my results. So 24 hours later, this beast has been running for 24 hours at roughly 5.6 watts, which is really good. It's actually just popped up now, so it's obviously heating up a little bit of water in there. But over the time that it's been running, it's used 0.519 kilowatts. So a kilowatt being 30p, that means we're looking at about 15 pence a day to run one of these toilets with a heated seat, the heated air dryer and all those sorts of bits and pieces being used on a normal day-to-day basis by me and my wife. So hopefully that's indicative for you guys if you're worried about how much it costs to run one of these amazing futuristic toilets. So there you go, you've learned loads about this toilet. Now, how about you learn about how I installed it? By clicking on this link here, you'll be able to watch the whole video about how this was installed, all the work that went into do this tiling, the flush plate, and everything else. So click on that now, guys, check the video out, and I'll see you later. Remember to hold tight.